Yo, what's up everyone? Hey, I wanted to show you a little hack real quick that you can use when you're changing your oil. You can take a little milk container like this, and these things screw directly into your oil intake for your engine. So let me show you real quick. Let me turn on my light here all the way. That way it doesn't look all choppy like that. It's kind of weird how the low light does that on this camera. But anyway, these threads on this milk container fit the Toyota Tacoma, and I think they probably fit other vehicles as well. You can take this and just screw it in. Oops. Just like that, and it stays. And that's a great way to change your oil if you don't have, your own little deal. I forget what those things are called because I'm kind of tired at the moment. But that's a great way to do that, and it just stays on the engine there. You can see it. So I've got the back all packed up too. Let me show you how that looks when I've got all my gear in it. Everything's in here, which is great. So this is my entire winter setup. Here's all of my winter gear, and I'm gonna take an extra 5-gallon container with me. I think this is actually 7. But in the back you can see, let me see if I can do this here. Got my bedroll, got a couple blankets, I got my pillow. I've got my 2 sleeping bags. One's gonna be just for like the floor, if I want to throw something down on the floor and chill. I've got the vestibule, which I'm taking. Really excited to set that up and show you all what that's like. Then I got my stove over here, 2 camp chairs, and then my tent's in the back underneath the bedroll. So also too, I took off those stupid stickers, those TRD stickers, and I'll probably get this fixed eventually. But just when I'm wheeling on really tight trails, I always clip trees in the back here, and I've had that thing on both sides. They've been dented up a bunch over the years, and I just haven't ever gotten around to fixing them. But when I get the wedge chopper on here, I'll probably fix that. I still need to go off here. You can see where the TRD was, but I just used a hairdryer to remove that. It's really easy to do if you have any decals on your truck. And I'm thinking I may get rid of these Tacoma ones too, but let me do that once I hit the road. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm gonna head to Rick's ranch first. I've been talking about that. I'm gonna put a link in the video description below about what the ranch is, and you guys can check it out. This was the video that was on YouTube when the ranch was for sale, and Rick and Katie, his wife, they bought this ranch from a guy named Franklin. He owned the ranch for 70 years and worked it by himself. And so this ranch is incredible. For those who have followed some of the comments or the previous video, there's Civil War era relics that they found in the oldest barn on the property, and apparently there was a Union Army regiment that got pinned down with a snowstorm there back in the 1860s, and so that's where like the saddles and the uniforms and the swords and all that stuff. Some of that stuff was left behind. So I'm gonna have a whole history section on the channel going forward of different places that I stop off at that have historical significance, because I love history. I was actually thinking about being a history major in college before I did international business, but I just love history, and so I want to feature that on the channel. And it'll just be sporadic, like when I'm rolling around to different areas about cool stuff here or cool stuff there, and I want to feature that. Also too, something that's really cool here, and I'll show you guys some video of this here in a second, but my mom has the old cookbook that my great-grandma used during the Great Depression, and it's like 104 years old, and it's really cool. It's a handmade cookbook because they didn't have any money, and it's a handmade cookbook that she started making in 1916, and she used it all throughout the years. And then the plate that I use, let me go grab it real quick. This is my grandfather's plate when he was a kid, and it's over 100 years old, and this is the plate that he had from a child up until he left Enid, Oklahoma. And it's this old plate, it's metal, and then it has ceramic on the top here, like a ceramic covering. And you can see, let me just put this down and I'll show you, but you can see where he had like the spoon and the fork and everything like that. So if you see here on the, let's see, let me focus this. If you see here on the sides, that's like the spoon, the fork where my grandfather would rest it, and then around here too, that was kind of like this would face him. And I use this plate, and it's really awesome. My grandfather was a huge influence in my life, and so I think this is really cool to carry this, and I think about him a lot when I'm out traveling. And so I want to just do some more historical stuff when I'm rolling around. So that'll be a portion of the videos that I do. And then I shared that mix yesterday at Buckethead, and the reason for sharing that is just because I think it's good road trip music. And I was surprised at all the pushback I got from people. People were like, yeah, this sucks, you know, you need to get back to camping. And all it is music. Like, I just wanted to share what I listen to when I'm out road tripping. Also too, it's great for like watching sunsets. I like it anyway. It's great for watching stars. It's just kind of melodic. If you don't like it, you can just skip over it. I just want to share what I like. And so that's what my channel is all about. And you know, I realize some people think that it may deviate from the name, but I mean, I don't care. I'll post what I want. So, yeah, it is what it is. But it's just, I was floored at, like, some people are like, you suck. And I'm like, really? For sharing music? Like, it seems a little aggressive, and I don't know, just kind of crazy. Okay, so here's the cookbook that I was talking about. And this is from my great-grandmother, and this is a handmade cookbook. And they didn't have any money back in the day, and the Great Depression was approaching. She started making this in 1916 and used it for her entire life. And essentially, like I said, they didn't have any money, my great-grandparents, and so she made this cookbook out of old magazines that she liked. And so she put a fabric, like kind of a cloth exterior on it, and then bound everything together. And then she cut out the articles in here that she wanted to keep reading, and then pasted all of the different recipes. And let me pull this up here so you can see the different recipes. So let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. And then onions are a nerve tonic and sleep maker. Cranberries and tomatoes stir up a sluggish liver. Prunes, dates, apples, spinach, and carrots are laxatives. And then if you look here on the side of this, all of these pages here, this is where she would turn the pages. And so she would cut into the specific page themselves. Let me do this real quick. Oh, here's an example of some of the articles that she would keep. So she wanted to keep this one right here, and she would read these stories time and time again. It was like a form of entertainment. And if you look here, it says from August 1916. And so the book itself is in really fragile state, and it's pretty cool because like these stories here, and the areas where she didn't care for the story, she would go ahead and paste on different recipes. So like here's a lemon butter cake filler right there. Talks about how to make that. Cream filling for cake. Down here, whoops. Cake filling using yolks, like egg yolks. And then it got to the point where there were so many recipes in here, she began to, let's see if I can find them. Oh, here it is. She began to make cutouts and didn't have room to put them in the book because it was already filled, so she would cut them out like that. Another thing that she would do is she would, let's see if I can find it here. There is examples on here on how to make dresses and how to make clothes. And so she would save the different patterns, and see here it talks about the different patterns, and then they would make their own clothing. And so this is just incredible. I love history, and I think stuff like this is really cool. And we're going to keep this in the family. I asked my mom, I said, hey, I would love to have this handed down to me, you know, whenever the time's right for that, because I'd love to keep this and keep it in our family. And so my grandparents were awesome, and these are, let's see, this was the parents of my granddad. And so if you look at the handwriting here, it's beautiful handwriting, and she would have notes. Do this. Have different notes, and this one is for fruit and nut cookies, and so it talks about the recipe and how to make it. And then let's see what this one is about. I want to be careful with these. Candied cranberries. So this is the recipe for candied cranberries, and I just think this stuff is so incredible, and so it's really cool that my mom has these and kept them, and I just love looking through the pages. Turn it like this. Oh, here's some more patterns right here of how to make different dresses. And so it's really cool. I'm going to include some pictures too of my great-grandmother and great-grandfather, my great-grandfather, and he just looked like such a stud. And it's really cool to have this in our family.